All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry that we are starting a little bit late, but thank you all for being here. I am Jen O'Malley Dillon, and I serve as the chair of the Unity Reform Commission. I'm joined by my great friend and vice chair, Larry Cohen, and I hereby call this meeting of the Unity Reform Commission to order.
Hey, it's Emma Vigling with TYT Politics. I'm here with Larry Cohen, the Vice Chair of the DNC Unity Reform Commission.
That's today's job, yes.
Yes, and also the Chair of Our Revolution, the movement inspired by Bernie Sanders. I want to talk a little bit about consultant culture in the Democratic Party, because obviously we talk about the 50-state strategy as if it was so many decades ago, but there was really only one, and it was really successful in the sense that 2006 was a great year for the Democratic Party. And then consultants took over the party in the past 8 years. How do you combat that right now in the Democratic Party?
So that's a really good question. I don't always have really good answers, but I would say the key is what we talked about here, which is how do you inspire new and many more sort of grassroots activists to build their own organizations, whether it's Our Revolution or some other group, and then run people for office and run for the party machinery of the Democratic Party or an independent party. It's up to them. And I think that that's really the key. How do you inspire millions of people to stay involved, at least on a level of what I call like a few hours a week, that they're actually doing something to build something.
So many times it's these Democratic consultants that have been leading the way to where we are right now. And in my opinion, that's just a giant money sink that doesn't get results. You can be way smarter about what money you do have and get much better results than what we've been getting compared to the status quo. So
you're telling me that the Democratic consultants shouldn't get paid what they're currently getting paid because of their miserable failure in the past couple of years?
I think if any other business ran on this model, they'd be out of business in a hurry. So why do we keep going back to them when all we do is lose?
That is a revolutionary thought.
Right.
You could have a Democratic Party that's about just large donors and consultants that do polls and then, create advertising. Or you can have a Democratic Party that, in my opinion, much more successful, that's based on millions or even tens of millions of people who feel like, hey, this belongs to me, we're running it from my precinct up, including how we nominate a presidential candidate. But frankly, more importantly, how we work in the state. There's 57 state parties, because you have Democrats abroad, you have DC, you have Puerto Rico, blah, blah, blah. 57. They're legally independent entities. And so if we don't create the movement in all 57 for change and inclusion and voting rights and voters in and big money out, it's hopeless.
9 out of 10 Americans, doesn't matter whether Hillary, Bernie, or even on the Republican GOP side, we are all sick of it. We all see the special interest corruption that's happening in it, and this is something that can bring unity. If they just focus on it, I think we'll see that happen.
The panel closed with, I believe it was Jim Zogby saying that we want to focus on getting money out of politics, and we want to be the party that isn't about money in politics. What tangible reforms have you guys done, or have you been discussing, that gets money out of the Democratic Party, or big money?
Yeah, well, I think that will be an ongoing fight, to be honest. I think the beginnings of that, though, are what you've been asking me about, and what we've been talking about, which is how does the average person become an activist and feel like, proportional to their activism, their ability to organize other people, they're transforming sort of what goes on, whether it's in their neighborhood, their city, their county, their state, and nationally in the Democratic Party as well. If that's not happening, we're going to continue. That means we're continuing where we've left off, which is more and more being about big donors.
And it's time for them to make a change, to modernize their party and to bring in the young people that they're now excluding.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I mean, honestly, what it really comes down to is the fact they need to focus on the people, on the grassroots. I mean, we've felt ignored over and over again. You just need to say that you're not going to take it, and even just saying that you're not going to take that big super PAC money will inspire people to give you what they have, because they feel like whatever, that if they do vote for you, you will represent them, not the donor. So even just making that stand and saying that this is the way we're going to go about it will inspire people to actually pay attention and follow. They need to take that one step and it will. And just that one step is going to do a lot of good in trying to get us forward to where we need to go.
We are going to be and continue to be very focused and diligent on our work so that we can get done the business of sharing the values of our party, making sure the progressive movement in this country feels part of and driving who we are as a party, and that we are winning elections because we can't afford not to.
This idea that we're just looking for shortcuts, hasn't worked. There's a net loss of 1,100 state legislative seats in the last 8 years. That's way before this last election, 8 years before.
We suffered a lot during the Obama years as a party. All right, we're not in the game anymore.
To break that cycle, we've got to convince people that they can come here as Democrats or as independents somewhere else, but we want them to come here, and that again, in proportion to the energy they can put in and the people they convince, that they can build something from the bottom up.